Alright, so I can't win by making this video. This video is going to be very, very controversial. Some people have some very strong opinions on who would win in a fight, the new nerfed Sasuke or nerfed Naruto in the Boruto franchise. I'm referring to Naruto, who has freshly lost Kurama due to Baryon mode, and Sasuke, who has just lost his Rinnegan by getting it stabbed out of his face. So before we talk about who wins, let's talk about the abilities that they lost and the abilities that they still have, so we have an idea of what they can actually do. So obviously Naruto lost everything that has to do with Kurama. He lost KCM2, he lost Bijou mode, he lost a friend and lifelong partner, and he lost Baryon mode, the Nine Tails chakra, and Asura mode, which is basically like Bijou mode, but you know, obviously with the 3 shadow clones that fuse into one, the 3 Nine Tails Kurama avatars that fuse into one. What does he still have? He still has his normal Sage mode. I believe he still has his Sage mode that was amplified by Sage of Six Paths chakra without the pigmentation on his eyes. This was the one that was cementing one Rinnegan and Madara's cheeks together. And he still potentially has the, you know, the chakra from all the other QB on top of all his, like, you know, his base abilities, like the shadow clones and the Rasengans. And so he still has access to all those other types of Rasengans, right? Alright, what does Sasuke have? Or what did he lose, rather? Sasuke loses all the abilities of all the paths of pain. Like, he loses the attractive and repelling forces, he loses the ability to extract human souls, which I don't even remember him even using, but it's definitely speculation. I think it's probably true that he had those abilities because he has a lot of the abilities that Nagato had. Never really used the Asura path with like the rockets and stuff, but he loses that ability too. Loses the abilities from the animal path and summoning animals, but he can still probably summon some animals through contracts, like Mondo, for example. And a lot of people think he can actually do Amaterasu, but Amaterasu was actually from his left eye. Because if you remember, the way his EMS worked, or his Mangekyo Sharingan, is that his left eye could produce the Amaterasu, and his right eye could control it using another ability, but his left eye turned into the Rinnegan, right, with the Tomo. So he could still use the Amaterasu through the Rinnegan, but now that he doesn't have the Rinnegan, he shouldn't be able to use Amaterasu, so he can't really do that. I mean, honestly, at this point, his Mangekyo doesn't really give him access to any crazy abilities, just basically like an amplified Sharingan. Obviously, he's not going to go blind using it, because first of all, what is he necessarily going to use? Maybe a powerful Genjutsu, I guess you could say, like Tsukuyomi or Kodo Matsukami. Not saying that they're on that level, I'm just saying that he can produce some Sharingan or Jutsu that are very powerful. He loses the ability of Space-Time Ninjutsu and his teleportation ability, where he can like switch places with something. And I don't think he can really use the Indra Susanoo that we saw at the Valley of the End, which was on par with the Ashura mode, because that was after absorbing the chakra of the Tailed Beast, and obviously he doesn't have the chakra of the Tailed Beast like Naruto does. So that's some stuff that he doesn't have. He still does have, obviously, Genjutsu, because the Sharingan, the Eye of Hypnotism, you know, some very powerful Genjutsus, and Naruto has a very tough time with that, and obviously Kurama's not going to be able to snap him out of it, because he doesn't have Kurama, and Sasuke still has the Eye of Insight, so he can still basically, essentially copy and predict Naruto's Taijutsu. So one thing that Sasuke has to his advantage is that throughout Boruto, he's basically been low on chakra the entire time, because he's been wasting it on the Rinnegan, but without the Rinnegan, that's not going to be such a hefty drain on his chakra anymore. He also has the perfect Susanoo, which we know he definitely still has that, even though he lost one of his eyes. We know that Madara was able to use it blind, so obviously he still has the perfect Susanoo. And possibly a couple of other things, like he probably still has the black Chidori that he got after getting the Rinnegan. So now I'm trying to take a step back, and obviously I love both of these characters. I'm trying to take as neutral a standpoint as I think I can take, and I would say that Naruto probably has more raw power, if that makes sense, but Sasuke has more hacks. So, I mean, depending on the fight, I think either one could win, because they both lost such an essential part of them and such a large power-up that they attained. Like, for example, if they are to fight in base or without using any like if Sasuke doesn't use the Susanoo, for example, because the Kurama avatar is what Naruto used to counter the Susanoo. If Sasuke doesn't use that, right, he has Genjutsu that he can put Naruto under. And if Naruto can't realize he's under Genjutsu or break free from it, because I mean, Sasuke doesn't have as overpowered Genjutsus as like Itachi did, like with like Tsukuyomi. I don't believe Sasuke actually has that, so if Naruto can get past Sasuke's Genjutsu or not look at him in the eye, I think Naruto has way more raw power because of the power from all the 8-tailed beasts, and Sasuke lost his Rinnegan, so we're basically seeing like a much more powerful EMS Sasuke, because obviously we know that they both got more powerful after the end of Shippuden. Even though we see that statement with Kurama saying that Naruto is rusty, that's probably largely due to being rusty to his prime prime, which would be not in Shippuden. His prime would probably be near the events of the last, after he's already an adult, and then after he becomes a Hokage, he becomes a little bit rusty from there. But that statement doesn't really hold a lot of weight. And obviously, we know that Sasuke has been getting stronger. Something to note that Naruto also has, I forgot to mention, is that he has the Hashirama cell hand, which allows him to absorb chakra. It's definitely something to note, but it's not like a game changer, I don't think. But yeah, Naruto definitely has, like, I think more raw power, and just like the Sage Mode enhanced by the 6 Pass chakra, like Sage Mode was able to take Naruto to like almost Jonin level, to like low Kage level. It's a pretty significant amplifier that's definitely gonna help him a lot in this fight if they were to fight. But obviously, again, there's a lot of factors like will he even have time to gather the nature chakra, right? But if they're going all out and bloodlusted, I do have to admit that the Susanoo is gonna be very hard for Naruto to counter without Kurama, because that was literally his, like, you gotta keep in mind that these two characters, these two way above Kage level fighters, were basically on par, right? In like fights against, for example, Momoshiki. These guys were essentially on the same level, right? And something that you immediately notice is that Naruto is relying more on Kurama than Sasuke is on the Rinnegan, because Sasuke is losing more minor abilities that he doesn't use in fights as much besides teleportation, and he's not even using Amaterasu that much. So I feel like without the drain on his chakra, I feel like I'm gonna have to give the dub to Sasuke if they're all out bloodlusted with the Susanoo. Without the Susanoo, if Naruto can get past the Genjutsu, I feel like he would win this fight. And his sheer strength is definitely above that of Sasuke's. But yeah, definitely let me know what you guys think below. I know there's a lot of differing opinions about this. A lot of people had very strong opinions for Naruto, and obviously Naruto could win in certain circumstances, and Sasuke could win under certain circumstances. But let me know what you guys think below. If you guys like more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.